In my personal journey of playing games I missed out on when they first released for this channel, two titles really intrigued me. The first being Rise Son of Rome, a launch title for the Xbox One, and the other being, in many ways, this mirror image, The Order 1886, a launch title for PS4. In both cases, these games served as much as showpieces for what the 8th generation consoles were capable of, as they were actual games that you could play. They were titles that heavily flaunted their next generation graphics, which more than anything hold up to this day. When I reviewed Rise Son of Rome last year, I came away happy that I tried it and loving the first few hours, but unfortunately the game becomes rather repetitive in the later stages, which left me feeling as if it failed to reach the potential that it had. In many ways, my experience with The Order 1886 was very similar, a mix between Gears of War and Resident Evil, with the gameplay taken from Gears of War and the supernatural elements from Resident Evil. It was clear that Sony and Ready at Dawn were proud of how the game looked, which was and still is incredible, while not focusing on what makes games really great, which is, of course, the gameplay. And there really should have been more of it. You follow Sir Galahad, a member of the Order, a group of knights tasked with protecting England from paranormal threats like werewolves and vampires in the late 1800s, 1886 to be exact, obviously. These knights are infused with the power of the Holy Grail, enabling them to heal from otherwise deadly injuries. It's a fun way to explain why they can go up against these otherworldly enemies and take the beatings that they do. Over the course of the short campaign, you fight against the paranormal forces and rebels against the Crown while uncovering a vast conspiracy involving members of the Order. The story is honestly pretty good, mixing fantasy with sci-fi elements. While there is magic in the form of things like the Grail, your weapons are created by Nikola Tesla, which allows you to have a pretty fantastic array of gadgets. It's a fun story, if not a very 2010 story beat. The highlight of the game for me is the gameplay. The weapons are fun, reminding me of the Resistance franchise, which makes sense as that was kind of Sony's answer to Gears of War during the PS3 generation, and it's clear to me that they were hoping that the Order would take over that niche. And since they never made another Resistance game, I think that's the basket their eggs were in. The firefights are intense and exhilarating. The issue is the game almost doesn't want you to actually play it. The game is like 6 hours long, and a full half of that time is spent watching cutscenes. The cutscenes are beautiful. There have been a few titles to reach the graphical heights of The Order, but maybe this story would have worked better as a television show. I just don't understand why you make a game with really fun gameplay and then force the players to sit there watching cutscenes for over half of the runtime. The story itself is fine. For a video game from 2015, the twist is pretty well telegraphed so that when it does eventually get revealed, you're kind of just like, yeah, I know, I saw that coming. It's clear that Sony wanted this to be a major series. I remember it being shown off so much in the lead up to the PlayStation 4, but like Rise Son of Rome, it served more as a technical showcase than a game that people were actually going to fall in love with. It wasn't too well reviewed upon release, scoring only a 63% on Metacritic. I think this excerpt from GRY Online's review sums it up pretty well. Quote, "The Order 1886 is a pretty good game. Nothing else. Almost every part can be criticized. The story flows nicely, but is extremely predictable. The fights are good, but only the ones with people in them. Liking fights are boring. Graphics are gorgeous, but the world feels empty. Sir Galahad's adventure is yet another bit of proof that beauty isn't enough. You should see the Order in motion, but to do so only after some significant discounts. Currently, you can find the Order for around $15 on eBay. That's how I played it. Or even $80 if you want the collector's edition. I'm really not sure why you would want it, but you can get it. I feel like $15 is fair for what you're getting. If you're interested but never tried it, spend the money, knock it out in an afternoon. I truly feel like this could have been the first step in a decent franchise. The ending sets up a pretty interesting concept for a sequel that we'll unfortunately never get to see. The studio behind the game, Ready at Dawn, was acquired by Oculus Studios, currently known as Reality Labs, in June 2020, but closed down in 2024 after releasing some titles in the Lone Echo series. It's unfortunate that this is all there ever was in the Order series, but given that you really only have one chance to make a first impression, and that impression was this game is fine, I can't say that I'm really surprised. So have you played The Order 1886? If so, what do you think about it? I guess TLDR, I enjoyed it for what it was, but I prefer Rise Son of Rome because that actually had a lot of gameplay even if it was a bit repetitive. I'd rather have a game be repetitive than not allow me to really engage with it at all. So let me know your thoughts about it. And if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe. We're trying to get to 2,000 subscribers, so I'd really appreciate it if you did subscribe. Also, check out our other channels, which include Those Fake Nerds for nerd and pop culture news, Wicked Sports for sports news, Better Radio, which hosts all of our podcasts, and our newest channel, History is Wicked, where we cover cryptids, urban legends, and weird history stories. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.